example, in states with strict Common Core standards, now often in many schools, teachers are required to submit weekly lesson plans, and every point they cover is going to be related to something in the specific passage in the bureaucratic standards. And so they're controlled tightly from above. And that takes what out of it? That means that the students, they're just doing what they're told all day long. And you talked about those demonstrations. A third grader in a demonstration. That's an amazing thing to happen. And just think of that word, demonstration. There's a beautiful thing from Lincoln that says, a guy said to him, "How did you learn to speak so well?" He said, "Well, I kept running across the word demonstrate. And I looked and looked to discover what it meant. And I decided it was some high standard of proof. And so I left my situation in Springfield, and I went home, and I did not come back until I could repeat all of the propositions of Euclid from memory." Now that's what made Abraham Lincoln what he was. And being a third grader, being told to go out and wave signs, that doesn't advance you toward that real independence of mind and character that an excellent education will give you.
The word independence. We've used the word individualism. So this kind of devours, again, independent thinking. And yet here, these institutions exist, we think, for academic freedom, for free speech, in order to learn, to gain knowledge. And what appears to happen is that it's to advance a social agenda, climate change, or whatever the agenda is. And it is always of the progressive agenda, pretty much, is it not?
Yeah, and climate change, whatever you think about it, is complex. But climate, what does that word mean? What does change mean? What does demonstrate mean? The substance of education, I said earlier, Socrates is always T-S-T. What is a thing? Education is getting a strong grasp of what things mean. And these conclusions that are drawn that become public policy issues, school is not the place to do that. You're preparing to participate in that in school. And just remember, half the people shave off more than half the budget of education. More than half of it goes to people who do not teach. And they have interests to protect, and they organize the schools increasingly to protect those interests.
Mm-hmm. And so there's not as much actual education that goes on in these schools anymore. There's much more social policy and that sort of thing.
Education, Mark, is like this, like you and me. We've known each other 30 years. We didn't plan this conversation out very well. It's not for us to judge whether it's any good or not. But neither one of us could have predicted exactly what was going to happen because we're both talking.
Right.
And we react to each other. We always like to do that.
Yes.
A classroom should be like that. Yeah. The kids help, but there's a common task in front of all of them. And if you identify that right, the classrooms are magical places.
We'll be right back.